So SEO is specifically centered around what are the keywords that people use to find things? What's the deal with keywords? Hi everyone, I'm Zara, your host of Reset, the Mindset Makeover Show. Here we help you to build the tools you need to elevate your life, career, and income all on your own terms. If you haven't already done so, don't forget to hit the like button if you like this type of content and subscribe. Don't forget to turn on your notifications so you don't miss a single episode of Reset. Welcome to Reset Fundamentals. Today on Reset, we're diving into part 2 of E-commerce Explained. In this capsule, we share basic tools and knowledge that you need to start your e-commerce business. This is really essential, and it's based off of my own experience of tools I wish I knew about and things I wish I understood before I started any of my businesses. I'm leveraging the knowledge I've gained to share it with you so that you can start with much more success than I did. Here we'll help you to build a foundational understanding of e-commerce terms, strategies, and tools to create a sustainable and successful e-commerce business. If you haven't seen part 1, where we explain common e-commerce metrics, we'll include a card above. I definitely recommend that you watch that first, particularly if you're new to e-commerce, because we use some of those same terms in this conversation and it helps you to build on your understanding. If you already feel like you have an understanding of the e-commerce basic analytics, then feel free to dive right in. Either way, you can go back and refresh on any knowledge that you feel like you might be missing. Now, let's dive into part 2. Part 2 of E-commerce Explained is going to focus on SEO. Now, I'll explain shortly what SEO is. In this session, we'll cover the basics of SEO, including what is SEO, why is it important, basic steps to getting started with SEO, how do you measure how effective your site is in its SEO strategy, and then really, so what? What are the next steps you need to take in order to build an effective SEO strategy? Let's start with what is SEO? SEO stands for Search Engine Optimization. SEO is a method of optimizing your website around specific keywords that help you to rank higher in search engines. So SEO is specifically centered around what are the keywords that people use to find things? What are keywords? Keywords are terms people use to find information. What's the deal with keywords? What are they and how do you use them? The first thing you want to know is that keywords doesn't mean that each keyword that you use is one word. This is a mistake that people often run into, even like in your tags on YouTube. When you use one word, it tends to be extremely broad, it's less specific, and less tied to a specific intent, whether it's viewing a video on YouTube or making a purchase from a site that you discover on the internet. And when you get more specific keywords or phrases, long tail phrases, those help to direct people to specific things that they're looking for, which increases their purchase intent. Or on YouTube, their viewing intent. And there are different types of keywords. So let me give you an example. Let's say I'm interested in something. I'm going to say it's a laptop. So I might go into Google and say I'll just put laptop in the search. Now, when someone uses that type of keyword, that's incredibly broad. It typically means they don't necessarily know what they're searching for, and they might be looking for more information, but it's much less likely that they're ready to transact, which means that their purchase intent at the time of doing that search is quite low, but the number of search results that they get will be quite high, and the number of searches using that term is also quite high. Now let's go down another level and say instead of searching for laptop, I search for laptops under $2,000. As you can see, that's becoming more specific. And as that becomes more specific, there will be fewer searches that align with that keyword. However, the purchase intent of someone using that search increases even more. And then where you get to like the really juicy keywords, the long tail keywords, are where the purchase intent increases and it's really high. An example of that would be, I'll type into Google, high resolution lightweight laptops. No, I'll even go the best performing lightweight laptops under $2,000. Once you start getting that specific, that's really where the customers start saying exactly what they're looking for. Identifying those types of long tail keywords helps you essentially get closer to that 35% conversion rate because you're meeting the customer where their purchase intent is the highest. We've defined SEO and discussed how it's related to keywords. So here's an example so that you can get a better understanding. We're going to go into Google and explore a little bit of what it looks like when you do a search. I just went in and I searched for the best productivity apps of 2020. You'll see here that it's giving us a few different options, but the first thing you see that? They're all ads. Add. And then you'll see reviews. Reviews are an important part of SEO, and we can get into that later. But then once you get down here, you'll see the actual search results. This area is what we call organic search. These are the sites that come up that Google thinks will give you the most relevant response to what you search for. What we do know is that sites that come up here, they typically have about a 35% conversion rate when people go onto the site. So if this were for a specific product, if someone searched for something this specific and then clicked on this site to make a purchase, there's a 35% chance that they're actually going to buy something, which is huge when you know the average e-commerce conversion rate is only 2.75%. Why is SEO important? 95% of people don't go beyond the first page when they're conducting a search. So the higher you are in that search, the higher likelihood that someone will find your site. Another very important point is that a lot of people use different methods to grow their businesses. They might use social, they might use paid, whether it's paid advertisements, paid search, paid, just like pay-per-click ads, etc. But the unique thing about SEO is that it's working for you 24/7 without requiring a specific input from you in order for this to work. Let me explain. So when you're using social, you're typically using it in a couple of different ways. You might be doing paid ads on social, again, where you need to spend money, or even just maintaining a social account, particularly in social environments that are much more fast-paced like Twitter. It requires a lot of inputs from you on a very consistent basis. Paid is essentially that it is paid. And if you are bootstrapping your business or just getting started, this is probably not the best option for you because you haven't even figured out yet what works for you to be spending on some money on something that you don't know what the potential outcome might be. The difference with SEO is it does require a significant amount of time up front to set up. But once you do that, you don't have to continuously go through and update the core of what you've created in order to help your site to rank. What helps you to maintain your ranking and to improve your ranking is creating a system of checks and balances and processes for SEO, for ongoing SEO tactics for your site. I think this is particularly important for small businesses and anyone who's just starting out because these are things that you can control, these are things that you can implement, and these are things that might require time, but don't necessarily require a huge financial output on your end to deliver an improved outcome. Now that you understand SEO and understand the benefits, I'll throw one more statistic out there. In our prior e-commerce explained video, we described conversion to you. And conversion can apply to a few different things, but right now I'll speak to it specifically as it relates to like a retail site. So the higher your conversion rate, the Basically, it means the people who go to your site, there's a higher percentage of them who are purchasing a product. One of the benefits of SEO is that when you land on that first page and people are searching for very specific things, the conversion expectations increase, meaning people at the top of that list, when someone is searching for a very specific thing, the conversion rate is upwards of 35%. Now imagine an average conversion rate of 2.75% and an SEO-based top of the search list 35% conversion rate. That's a huge potential for increased sales for your website. So now that we've talked about that and just talked about the huge sales opportunity that you really can benefit from with SEO, let's talk about just a few basic things to get started. And I'm going to preface this with, this is basic. There's much more that you need to do to incorporate SEO strategies into your business. And I'm actually going to build another video on top of this where we dive into more detailed strategies. These are just basics to understand. There are a few really important things that you'll want to have a basic understanding of before you even start your SEO strategy. So first and foremost, you want to have a clear understanding of who your target customer is and build out a customer persona. What I mean by this is you need to know more than my customer is between the ages of 25 to 35. They're a family that makes an income between $50,000 and $100,000 a year. You need to understand the psychographics, the behaviors of your customer. So where does my customer typically shop? Why does my customer typically shop these places? What are the specific needs that my customer is looking to have fulfilled? These are very important because they'll help to guide you towards applicable keywords that you can start your keyword research with to build out your SEO strategy. The other thing you'll want to do is have a thorough understanding of who your competitors are, but not just who they are, where do they sell their products? This will help you with your SEO because then you can go to those places and see how they represent themselves, what types of words they use, and again, use that as a foundation for your keyword research. So the first thing you want to understand is where does SEO matter for your website? The first place I'd start are what are the major search engines where you are selling for the people you're currently selling to. So if you're US based, the biggest search engines in the US are Google, Amazon, believe it or not, and actually YouTube. YouTube is a search engine. Some others to consider would also be Bing. Now that you understand that those are search engines, the other questions would be, where are you selling your product? So if you aren't really selling on Amazon and you aren't doing YouTube videos, then those don't really apply in terms of how you register your site, but they do apply for search, which we'll get into more later. If you're a regular site, but you're not selling in any of those channels or producing videos, then one of the first things you'll want to do once you've outlined your SEO strategy is register your site on the Google Search Console and the Bing Search Consoles, as well as loading your sitemaps. If this sounds like another language to you, stay tuned. I'm just going to do a quick video later on how to do this really easily and clearly for your site. So don't worry, those tools will be there for you to use. If you're a local business, another benefit is registering your business on Google My Business, which is another way to help your business to come up even more so in local searches. And then the next part, and probably, the foundation and basis and most important part of SEO is the keyword or keywords. After you do these other steps, you're really going to start with keyword research. I'm going to build an entire video around the basics of keyword research and how you can do it and how you can get started. But just know, understanding your customer and everything about them, understanding your competition, and understanding the major search engines are the foundation to starting your keyword research. Let's talk about where do keywords go. Again, we're going to get into this in more detail as you start executing this strategy, but starting at a high level, keywords are everywhere. Keywords are in your site URLs, they're in your image titles and descriptions, they're in your metadata, they're in the body of your website, they're in your product descriptions, they're literally everywhere. And the more places that you can put effective keywords in a way that makes sense helps your site to rise to the top in searches. Now that we've talked about what is SEO, what are some basics to understanding SEO, and what are keywords, really, how do you measure SEO effectiveness? So there are a couple of ways to do this. We're going to do an exercise on measuring it for a site so you can get a gauge, but today I wanted to share a couple of high-level ways that you can measure SEO effectiveness. One of the first ways you can measure this is looking at your organic search traffic. And again, organic search, those are the search results that come up under the paid advertisements. So the things that naturally happen. And you want to see how much of your site traffic is coming from organic search. But that's not the only thing you care about. You want to see that number going up, but in line with that increasing, you also want to see it have a higher conversion rate. So typically you would expect that honestly it has a higher conversion rate than your site because the people who are coming there are coming with a high purchase intent. Now, if you notice that people are coming, but the conversion rate is not good, that could mean that they're being directed to your site for keywords that aren't necessarily aligned with what you're offering. And you'll want to go back and do either some improvement on your keywords or improve the clarity of how the keywords tie to your offering to improve that conversion rate. The other thing that you can look at is backlink volume. Now, what are backlinks? Think of backlinks as referrals. So it's how often other sites refer people to your site. This is another way to evaluate SEO because often when people are doing research or writing blogs, they'll search for things that tie into what they're writing about. And if you align, they'll link to you. Now you can control some of your backlinks, but ensuring that your keywords align with what you're offering is another way to increase this. And as this volume increases, hopefully the quality of what you're linking to, which we'll also get into later, is also aligned. But if you're starting to get more referrals, that could also demonstrate an improvement in the quality of your SEO strategy. And then the last one is really keyword rankings. So this is when you type in a keyword or you're like a long tail keyword in Google, where does your site come up? You can keep track of this and see how your site ranking improves over you to demonstrate the effectiveness of your SEO. So let's say when you start out, you might be on page 10, but as you improve your SEO strategy, you get to the first page. That's how you know that you're improving in terms of your effective use of that keyword throughout your site. All right. So I know that was a lot of information and some of it might seem a bit overwhelming, but don't worry, we're going to address this in chunks and take a step-by-step approach into incorporating your SEO strategy into your site. There are a few things that are coming as a follow-up to this video because I did mention we'll break it into chunks. So make sure that you've subscribed and turn on your notifications so you don't miss any of those follow-up videos. Coming up, we'll show you how to link your site to the Google and Bing search consoles, as well as adding your sitemap to those search consoles. We'll also show you how to start the process and execute the process of keyword research. We'll show you how to organize your keywords so you can keep track of what to use, where, and when. And then we'll dive into a few additional details of other things you can do, as well as other resources you can use to execute and evaluate the effectiveness of your SEO strategies. Now I'm guessing that you're probably itching to get started, but you don't know where. Here are a few next steps that you might find useful. So first off, I'd like to direct you to the description box where you can download our free SEO checklist. This is a checklist that we'll actually build on as we go through the next few parts of this capsule, where you can keep track of ensuring that you're executing on all of the steps that I'm describing and that we're walking through in these videos. It will essentially serve as your workbook to building out your SEO strategy. The other thing that we'd absolutely love is if you hit the like button and let us know that this content is really helpful for you. If you've gone through this video and you still have a few questions about the basics, leave us a comment and let us know the things that you're looking to better understand, and we can make sure to either address it in the comments or in the upcoming videos. And as I mentioned, don't forget to subscribe and turn on the notifications. That way you won't miss when another video is coming that will help you on your SEO journey. All right, that's a wrap for today's part 2 of E-Commerce Explained, where we dive into SEO basics. Thank you guys so much for tuning in. I hope this was really helpful for you. We look forward to seeing you in the next session of E-Commerce Explained. Until then, I'm Zara, and thank you for watching Reset, the Mindset Makeover Show.